I hope we are all following the concepts of stability from 3 to 4 lectures. I think so. So in the last video we have seen equal area criteria and one of the application of equal area criteria. So the first application which we have seen is sudden increase in mechanical input. So sudden increase in mechanical input of synchronous generator. Sudden increase in mechanical input of synchronous generator, right? So sudden increase in mechanical input of synchronous generator. Now here if you observe, we have completed that discussion in the last video. Here the stability is achieved from the equal area criteria when area A1 is equal to A2. Now what happens when I goes on increasing the mechanical input? See, I have shown 3 different situations where there is a different change from PS1 to PS2. Okay, so if you observe here PS1, from PS1 to PS2, shaft power input before the disturbance. Now the mechanical input is increased from PS1 to PS2, right? So in this case it is stable. Now if the mechanical input is increased further, then what happens? If the mechanical input is increased further, then what happens? See here, the acceleration area is getting increased. A1 is getting increased. So as A1 is getting increased, in order to obtain the stability, A2 must also increase. So the maximum swing angle, see, the angle which we get at C is nothing but the maximum swing angle, right? So this maximum swing angle goes beyond 90 degrees. Even though it goes beyond 90 degrees, if A1 is equal to A2, then we can say it is stable. So there is a limit at which the condition A1, A2 means the condition of equal area criteria, the condition get disturbed. There is a limit for that. So at that limit, so the value of delta 1 is called as critical angle. The value of delta 1 is called as critical angle. So if you observe, as we are increasing, means as the change between PS1 and PS2, can I say like this? So PS2 minus PS1, this is the difference. Okay, as the increase in mechanical input is going on, means this magnitude if goes on increasing, then acceleration area will increases to a larger value. There is a condition, means there is a limit reached, that after that limit this A2 cannot be equal to A1, it will always be less than A1. So in that situation you will have the stability dissatisfied. So these two are the situations. Second and third situations are the situations where you don't have stability because the area A2 is becoming less than A1, right? So the angle, means the maximum angle at which, the maximum steady state angle at which you will get this angle, this condition satisfied, and that angle is called as a critical angle. After this angle, means if the operating angle is beyond this critical angle, then we cannot ensure the stability of the system. In this way we can understand the sudden increase in mechanical input of synchronous generator. Okay, just I want to remind what we have covered in the previous video, and this is the extension for that. When there is a sudden increase in shaft power input, if there is a chance of getting area A2 equal to A1, then the system will regain its stable operating point. Otherwise, based upon the amount of increase happen, there is a chance that the A2 will be less than A1. In those situations, we cannot get the stability of the system. We cannot make the systems to be stable. Okay, so this is the situation. Now we will see next application. So the next application, second application is as we have seen sudden increase in mechanical input of synchronous generator. Now we will see sudden increase in mechanical output of synchronous motor. Mechanical output of synchronous motor. See, for a generator the input is mechanical, whereas for motor the output is mechanical. So I am studying about now sudden increase in mechanical output of synchronous motor. Now if you observe, you have a infinite bus whose voltage is given by V at an angle 0 degrees, and it is connected through a transformer. It is connected through a transformer, and it is connected to a motor, right? So it is connected to the motor which has the electrical input. So let us let us consider the motor angle, means as E at an angle minus delta. Here that E is nothing but the back EMF. And why we got minus delta? Because you will have angle between delta and angle between V and E like this. So E always lags V, hence I can take E at an angle minus delta, right? Now how can I find the power? Because S can be given by V at an angle 0, and you have V at an angle 0 minus E at an angle minus delta divided by Jx. Is it right? Conjugate. How we got this? We got from VI conjugate. I is the current flowing through the synchronous motor, which is connected from the infinite supply, because the electrical energy is supplying to the motor, and from the motor will get the mechanical energy. So you will get V at an angle 0 degrees, and how can I get this? I can write this as V at an angle 90 degrees minus E at an angle minus delta minus 90 degrees by X conjugate. So if you multiply this, first term will become V square at an angle 90 by X. As I need only the electric power, how can I get the electric power? Electric power is only the real value. If you take conjugate for this, you will get E at an angle 90 plus delta. If you take conjugate for this by X, and it is V with a negative sign. So this is from this you will get the real power. How can you get the real power? So EV by, I am just writing only the real term, right? I don't bother about this term because you will get the imaginary value for this. As I want only the electric power which is supplied to the motor, it will comes out to be EV by X cos 90 plus delta. Cos 90 plus delta with negative sign. So cos 90 plus delta is a minus sin delta. So you will get again for the motor also the electric power supplied is given by EV by X into sin delta. You can obtain this expression from this equation VI conjugate. I can be given by this voltage minus this voltage by the equivalent reactance in between these two. If you have transmission lines, you must add those reactances also in order to get the equivalent reactance. Now if you observe, Now, what is the accelerated power in case of motor? In case of synchronous motor, the accelerated power is the difference between the electric power and shaft power. Is it right? So, accelerated power now becomes EV by X sine delta minus PS. This is the accelerated power. Now, what happens under stable condition? Means before the change or before the disturbance. Now, what is PE and PS? PE is equal to PS. So, the accelerated power is 0. It indicates the decelerated power is also 0. If both are equal, means electric power as well as shaft power, if both are equal, you will have the accelerated power 0 as well as the decelerated power 0. It indicates the net difference between those two powers is equal to 0, right? So, as this power is 0, you can take PE which is equal to EV by X sine delta 0, and it is equal to PS1. From this I can take delta naught as sine inverse of PS1 divided by what is EV by X? It is P max 1. We know this already, P max 1. So this delta naught is related to the point A in the power angle curve. Point A in the power angle curve, which we will see later. Is delta 0 is related to the point A in power angle curve, where the electric power is equal to shaft power. When the electric power is equal to shaft power, there is no acceleration or deceleration, hence we can call it as a stable point. Is it right? Now, if you observe P max 1 means the real power before the the maximum power before the disturbance. It is given by EV by X1 equivalent. Similarly, P max 2 is also EV by X2 equivalent. In both the cases, the reactance is unchanged, as X1 equivalent is equal to X2 equivalent. It indicates that P max 1 is equal to P max 2. Is it right? As both have the same maximum power transfer, we have only single power angle curve. In order to understand equal area criteria, means the application of equal area criteria here, we take the help of only single power angle curve. Why we are taking only single power angle curve? Because the P max 1 is same as P max 2. In both the cases, before the, what is P max 1? It is the maximum power transfer before disturbance. What is the disturbance? Sudden increase in mechanical output of synchronous motor. And here, what is P max 2? This is after disturbance. This is after disturbance, right? So in this way, we can understand the situation at a stable point. Both the electric power as well as the shaft power, both are same. That is the reason why the point is called as a stable point. This is the situation before the disturbance. Now if you observe, when there is sudden increase in mechanical output, what happens? Means the shaft power is increasing. It remains the same, but the shaft power is increasing. So you will have, initially you will have deceleration. After deceleration you have acceleration. This is the difference between generator and motor. We need to understand. In generator we have taken sudden increase in mechanical input of synchronous generator. In motor we have taken sudden increase in mechanical output of synchronous motor. Both the cases we have considered mechanical disturbances, right? Now let me draw the movement of rotor in case of generator, in case of motor. If you understand this, then only you can understand the remaining things. So I have drawn already in the previous video Now I am drawing again because we want to discuss here about the synchronous motor. So this is delta, right, and this is reference axis, rotating reference axis, and this is the rotor field axis. Okay, so this is the rotor field axis and this is rotating reference axis, and the rotor field axis always lags the rotating reference axis by delta. This is for motor, this is for synchronous motor. Now what happens when there is acceleration? See, when in this situation the speed of both the things is synchronous speed, both the rotor as well as the stator magnetic field, both are rotating in synchronous speed. When there is acceleration, what happens? See, this is the acceleration. When there is acceleration, speed increases, which goes beyond the synchronous speed. So this will reduces delta value. So acceleration of motor reduces delta value. Similarly, when there is deceleration, you have the movement like this. Okay, so deceleration of motor increases delta value. Why it is increasing delta value? The lagging nature will become more when the rotor reduces its speed. So omega will be less than omega s, means it reduces below the synchronous speed. This is the movement of rotor field axis in case of synchronous motor. If you understand all these things, then only we can move to the actual discussion of what is happening at different points or at different operating points, right? Now observe. So this is the thing which we need to understand. So I hope this is not clearly visible here at the right side portion. I will write, no problem, don't bother about that. If you observe, this is the single power angle curve. Why we have single power angle curve? The reason is, as Pmax 1 is equal to Pmax 2, we got single power angle curve. This is the reason, right? Okay, let me erase this. Now if you observe, this is the point A. So at A, the shaft power as well as the electric power both are same. So this is the stable operating point. So that I have written here. So at point A, PS1 is equal to PE1, shaft power is equal to electric power. So the power is equal to 0. Either it may be accelerating power or decelerating power is 0. So you will have neither acceleration nor deceleration. You don't have the acceleration nor deceleration. Okay. What is the speed? The speed of the rotor now is means the speed of the rotor is synchronous speed, means the rotor is rotating in synchronous speed. Now this is a stable point. Why it is a stable point? Because here there is no acceleration or deceleration, and so in the last class we have seen three different conditions for oscillating point as well as the stable point. What are the conditions? If Pa is equal to 0 and omega is equal to omega s, we can call such a point as stable point, means there is no movement of delta from that point. There will be no movement. Whereas if Pa is not equal to 0 but omega is equal to omega s, or if Pa is equal to 0 and omega is not equal to omega s, in these two situations we can call this point as oscillating point. Okay, I hope you understood this thing in the last video itself. No need to write here again. Okay, it's a waste of time. Now from B to C, from A to B, not from B to C, from A to B. Now what happens? The mechanical output of synchronous motor is PS1. Now it is increased from PS1 to PS2. what happens? The power, which is the accelerated power, is the difference between electric power and shaft power. Whereas in case of generator, the accelerated power is the difference between shaft power and electric power, because this is the input and this is the output. Here this is the input and this is the output, right? Now as PS is increasing, there is no change in PE. As PS is increasing, PA will be negative. So that is the thing which I have written here. PA is negative. Why PA is negative? The shaft power from A to B, the shaft power is increased from PS1 to PS2. As the shaft power increases, the electric power is always less than the shaft power in this region. As the electric power is always less than the shaft power, the accelerated power is negative. Accelerated power negative means you have now deceleration. What is the movement? Means what is the status of rotation? It is in deceleration process. When the deceleration process started, what happens? Omega will be reduced, means it is reduced from synchronous speed. It is previously rotating with synchronous speed. Now the speed reduces because of the deceleration. Now what happens? See, if you see the movement, when you have deceleration, delta value increases. When you have deceleration, the low angular difference between the reference axis and rotor field axis increases. So that is the reason why delta increases. Right? So from delta naught to delta 1, it reaches from delta naught to delta 1. Now what happens at B? What is the nature of B? At B, I am writing here because it is not visible for you. Just I am writing here. At B, your shaft power and electric power both are same. That is the reason why PA is equal to 0. Accelerated power is equal to 0, because shaft power and the electric power both are same. Accelerated power is 0. Accelerated power or decelerated power 0 indicates previously it is deceleration. Now it comes to 0. Means deceleration. What is the status before this? The status before this is deceleration. Hence the deceleration will come to 0. When the deceleration stopped, actually if there is no moment of inertia, the change in delta must also stop. That is the situation, right? So I will write here. I am writing here. When deceleration becomes 0, when the deceleration becomes 0 at a different point other than A, then change in delta must stop. If there is no inertia, the change in delta must stop if the deceleration or acceleration becomes 0. Here the acceleration is 0. It indicates the deceleration is also equal to 0. So deceleration comes to 0, but it is treated as a oscillating point. Why? Because of moment of inertia and the speed. If you observe, the speed is not equal to omega s. The speed is equal to omega minimum. Why it is omega minimum? Previously it is at omega is equal to omega s. Now from A to B it starts reducing from omega s and reaches a value, a constant value, which is omega minimum. Though PA is equal to 0, omega is not equal to omega s. That's why there will be change in delta. Delta will increases further. Because of moment of inertia. That is the reason why the delta value starts increasing from B. Now what happens at B to C? in the region B to C, if you observe, now the electric power, this is the electric power and this is the shaft power. The electric power in this region is always greater than shaft power. So in this region, electric power is greater than shaft power. Whereas in this region, shaft power is greater than electric power. So as the shaft power is greater than electric power, we can call this region as decelerating area. Here, as the electric power is greater than shaft power, we call this as accelerating area. Now what happens from B to C, as PA is positive? Why PA is positive? The electric power is greater than shaft power. That is the reason why PA is positive. So what happens is acceleration starts. Here the acceleration starts. When the acceleration starts, omega is not equal to omega s, but omega increases, but still it is less than omega s. PA is positive and omega less than omega s. That is the reason why delta will increases due to relative speed. See why there is a relative speed? Omega is nothing but the speed of rotor. Omega s is nothing but the speed of the stator magnetic field. Now there is some relative speed between the rotor as well as the stator magnetic field. That is the reason why delta will increases, right? So from B to C, delta increases from delta 1 to delta. So in this region, delta increases from delta 0 to delta 1, then from delta 1 to delta, right? Now we'll see the reverse, means at C we assume that next. So at C what happens? At C, PA is still positive. PA is still positive because the electric power is greater than the shaft power. So PA is still positive. What about the acceleration? Acceleration still continued. Acceleration still continued. But what happens is the speed reaches to synchronous speed, because here the speed increases, right? Speed increases, but it is less than synchronous speed. The speed starts increasing from B, and at C exactly we assume that the speed is equal to synchronous speed. Though the speed is synchronous speed, PA is not equal to 0. Is it right or not? The accelerated power is not equal to 0, though we have reached the synchronous speed. That is the reason why this point is called as oscillating point. See, except at A, we don't have any stable point here. So A is a stable point. A to B, delta is increasing. At B, so it is also a oscillating point because the speed is not synchronous speed. From B to C, delta changing. At C also it is oscillating point. Now what happens is as the rotor starts accelerating, as the acceleration is continued, it is synchronous speed. Now the speed increases beyond the synchronous speed. Now what happens? Delta reduces because reference axis is like this, rotor field axis is like this. At C exactly it is at omega equal to omega s, and it is also omega is equal to omega s. So delta value is same. Now what happens? The speed increasing because of the acceleration. As the speed increases, delta value reduces. So we can call this as swing back. Means when the delta value when the delta value try to come back to its original value, we can call this step as swinging back position. This position is called swinging back position. Now from C to B, what happens from C to B? PA is positive still, from C to B, PA is still positive. Now acceleration is continued. What happens to omega? Omega is equal to omega s, and as it is accelerating, the speed increases from point C and it reaches to a maximum speed. Means in C to B, omega will be greater than omega s. Omega will be greater than omega s, and delta reduces still from C to B if you observe, right? Now at B exactly, if you observe, PA is equal to 0. Accelerating power is 0 because shaft power is equal to electric power. But though the see the difference between these two. When the operating point start from A, moves in this region and finally reaches B, at B you are having decelerating power 0, means deceleration comes to 0. Though the deceleration comes to 0, the speed is a minimum speed, not the synchronous speed. Hence we treated this as a oscillating point, means the change in delta will not stop here. Similarly, this is in the forward movement. In the reverse movement, though it reaches B, at B though the accelerated power is 0, speed is not the synchronous speed, it is omega is equal to omega max. So this point again treated as a oscillating point, and delta further reduces. As it is a oscillating point, delta further reduces due to moment of inertia. Exactly at B, actually, okay, so I am writing here, exactly at B, in forward movement, which is the previous case, okay, exactly at B, in forward movement, decelerating power is equal to 0, but speed is omega minimum. Hence we treated this as oscillating point. Similarly, in reverse movement, means swinging back, in reverse movement the accelerating power is equal to 0, but omega is equal to omega max. So again it is treated as oscillating point. Like that, you have the operating point moving in between A to C like this. First A to C, then from A to, this is another point, from C to A dash, then from A dash to C dash, then from C dash to A double dash, then from A double dash to C double dash, then from C, let me erase here, then from C double dash to A triple dash, like that, and it reaches a final steady point, and that steady point is B, and that steady state, new steady state angle, means a new stability angle or new load angle. Previously the load angle is delta 0, now the load angle is delta 1, right? In this way you have the movement of delta for sudden increase in mechanical output of synchronous motor, right? If you observe, this is the variation with respect to t. With respect to t, the delta value will change like this. So we can call this as, so this is t in seconds and this is delta. As we have seen just now, it moves from A to C, again from C to A dash, A to C dash, C dash to A double dash, C double dash, A triple dash, C triple dash, like that it will reach a final point, and that final point is B. Now what is the load angle at B? Delta 1, right? In this way the delta value changes with respect to time when there is a sudden increase, when there is sudden increase in mechanical output of synchronous motor, mechanical output of synchronous motor. Okay, we call this curve actually as, we call this curve as swing curve. We call this curve as swing curve, which is very important, which shows the variation of delta with respect to time. Okay, so let me write the two applications which we have studied up to now. First application is let me put in a neat manner. First application is sudden increase in mechanical input of synchronous generator. This is the first one. Second one is sudden increase in mechanical output of synchronous motor. And these two are treated as mechanical disturbances. One for synchronous generator and another one for synchronous motor, right? So the difference between generator and motor is, in motor first you will have deceleration. A1 is deceleration and A2 is acceleration. This is for motor. Whereas for generator, first you will have acceleration, then you will have deceleration. Okay, so this is for generator. This is the only difference which you can observe. The remaining all things, means the variation of delta from different operating, means in between different operating points. The variation of delta in between different operating points remains similar, means looks similar, but for a motor, when you have acceleration, delta increases. Whereas for a generator, the difference is I am writing here, for generator, when you have acceleration, delta increases. Deceleration, delta reduces. Whereas for motor, when you have acceleration, delta reduces. When you have deceleration, delta increases. This is the difference which we need to observe. That's why we got first decelerating area, then accelerating area. Okay, whereas the power transfer equation, means the electric power equation PE remains the same for both the machines, which is EV by X into sine delta. That's why we have used the same power angle curve for both generator and motor. Okay, so this is about the mechanical disturbances in the system.